It's time for the business news now with Nicholas Poynton, who's in our Auckland newsroom. Now, you have the full result for the Warehouse Group, Nicholas?
Yeah, g'day Lisa. So the Warehouse Group have given us a sneak preview of what their full year result, the audited full year result, when they put that out later in the week. And they expect to post a full year profit of about $44.5 million. However, that's still down by a third on what they made last year. But it is worth mentioning though that the company would have posted about a $4.3 million loss if it were not for the wage subsidy scheme, for which they received about $67 million. Now, this is a company that received an absolute lashing when they made an announcement on the NZX in June that they were planning to lay off between 300 and 400 full-time positions. But to be fair to the Warehouse Group, there have been a lot more worse offenders out there. For example, Fletcher Building, they showed the door to about 1,000 staff after claiming about $67 million in the wage subsidy. Air New Zealand, they received over $100 million and laid off about 4,000 staff. And then you have the likes of Somerset, the Briscoes Group, and Hallensteins and Glassons Holdings, who claimed the wage subsidy and then proceeded to pay their shareholders a dividend. All these companies have received a bit of a rap on the knuckles there, but the Warehouse's shareholders, they will not receive a full year dividend this year. Bear in mind, these are just the unaudited results. We'll get a better idea of what they look like later in the week, but the company is saying that next year they do expect a return for shareholders next year.
And Nicholas, it seems that businesses are, expressing confidence about their future for the first time since COVID has emerged.
Yeah, we received ANZ's preliminary survey of business confidence today, and the result, well, to put it in the words of ANZ's chief economist Sharon Zollner, was remarkable. She says it was a real surprise for her to see sentiment back at these levels, given that back in April, the amount of prevailing pessimism out there was just unbelievable. It had never been at these levels before. Headline confidence for the month, it did improve, but it's still in negative territory. But the more closely followed measure of how firms are feeling about their own future, that's now back in positive territory for the first time since March. Business optimism at the moment, it's been fueled by that ongoing monetary and fiscal stimulus, but it's also been buoyed by the fact that lockdown restrictions have eased in the past week, and look, there's no more cases that we know of in the community. And you're probably wondering if this trend is likely to continue. It's most likely that it probably won't. At this stage, the wage subsidy, it's still coming to an end. There are still some companies that are still receiving it. And we also have the first round of those mortgage deferral schemes coming to an end as well. And we also, if we look out some of the headwinds on the horizon there, we've got summer tourism coming up. We're going to see that lost income without international tourists coming to our shores. And also going to probably start to feel the effects of the loss of net migration.
And Nicholas, shall we have a quick look at the market numbers?
Well, yeah, as we heard there in the 5:30 headlines, that our local share market, it stormed to a record high today with one of its strongest sessions that we've seen since August. The benchmark NZX Top 50, it closed up 220 points to 12,235. That followed some hefty gains we saw in the European and US markets. Our own dollar, though, it is down against all the major currencies that we keep an eye on. It's at 65.7 US cents, 92 Australian, 50.8 British pence, and gold, it's down about $2 to 1,883 US dollars an ounce.
Thanks, Nicholas. Nicholas Poynton with our business news.